The 2022 Stanley Cup Playoffs are here, and the Carolina Hurricanes will be facing off against the Boston Bruins in round number 1. I've got a full series preview coming your way. Let's go. Hey everybody, the 2022 Stanley Cup Playoffs are about to begin. It is series preview time, and we are going to kick things off with the 1 seed Carolina Hurricanes against the first wild card team in the East, the Boston Bruins. This should be a very interesting series, certainly some major storylines going in. I think the two things that stand out in this series for me right out of the gate are obviously one, the goaltending situation with Carolina. Freddie Andersen has been out injured. His status is very much up in the air for when he's going to be able to come back, and that's going to have a huge impact on this series. The other thing is the fact that Carolina dominated the Bruins in the regular season this year, but that doesn't necessarily carry over into the playoffs, but certainly gives the Canes some confidence going in. So let's get into it here, taking a look at this series, and starting with Carolina, 54-20-8 on the season, one of the best teams in the NHL, finished the year with 116 points. They won the Metropolitan Division, and as I said, they dominated the Bruins, going 3-0-0 against Boston in the regular season this year. They also outscored them a combined 16-1 in those 3 games. So it was all Canes in the regular season. We'll have to see if that carries over or not into the playoffs. Carolina had a top 10 offense this year, scoring 3.38 goals for per game. That was 9th best in the NHL. However, they were the best defensive team in the league, and this is where they really shined, keeping the puck out of their net. Just 2.44 goals against per game this season, which ended up being first overall in the NHL. Now, obviously, a lot of that had to do with Frederik Andersen having a Vezina caliber season in net for the Canes, but it's also their overall structure in team defense that, on the other hand, really helped out Frederik Andersen and helped all of their goaltenders overall in keeping the puck out this year. And this is a very, very good team defensively, and they're very difficult to score against. And obviously, I think that's something that Boston's going to have to try and find a way to break through. That's going to be easier for the Bruins if Frederik Andersen is not there for the Hurricanes. But if Andersen is healthy and in net, he's going to be very difficult to score on. Special teams were also good for Carolina, 22% on the power play, which is 12th best in the NHL, so not great on the power play, but still fairly effective. And to go along with their top-ranked defense as a whole, they also had the top-ranked penalty kill in the league at 88% on the PK this year. Carolina can take penalties because they kill them off. It's going to be very difficult to score power play goals against the Hurricanes. Nobody really did it much in the regular season, and that will probably continue in the postseason as well. They are excellent on the penalty kill. So overall, you have a team that's good on offense, 9th in scoring, 12th on the power play, fairly good offensively, but where they really, really shine is keeping the puck out of their net. Best overall defensive team, best penalty kill. This team's extremely tough to score on. Switching over to the other side, the Boston Bruins, they went 51-26-5 on the year, 107 points. Certainly not a bad season at all for Boston. They ended up in the wild card 1 spot, and as you can see, it was a tough year, as we said earlier, against Carolina for the Bruins this season. They'll try and flip that script now come playoff time. It's not very often you see a 50-win team and a team with 107 points have to match up against a 1 seed and be a wild card team, but that's how strong the Eastern Conference was this year. And the Bruins had overall a very good year. Just so happens that a lot of other teams in the East were very, very good as well. Boston finished the year scoring 3.09 goals for per game, which is 15th in the NHL. So, pretty mid-pack as far as offense goes, and not as good offensively as Carolina. They gave up 2.66 goals against per game, which was 4th best in the NHL. So much like the Hurricanes, the Bruins were also very, very good defensively, top 5 on the year in keeping the puck out of their net, and stronger defensively than offensively. Very similar to the Canes in that aspect. Special teams wise, the Bruins power play finished at 21.2% on the power play, which was 16th in the NHL. So pretty mid-pack power play to go along with their mid-pack offense. And their penalty kill was 81.3% on the season, which was 9th in the NHL. So a top 10 penalty kill to go along with their top 5 goals against per game. So again, you know, Boston, not as good offensively as they are defensively. Overall, better at keeping the puck out of their own net than putting the puck into the opponent's net. And, you know, you say the same thing about Carolina looking at the numbers as well. So this could actually end up being kind of a lower scoring series. I think both of these teams are tough to score on. They both play very good structured defense. And neither of them have a lighted up Florida Panthers style offense either. So it's going to be an interesting series. We'll see what Boston is able to do in the postseason that they weren't able to do in the regular season against Carolina, or if there's anything they can do in the postseason that they weren't doing in the regular season, because this season series in the regular season was all Carolina. It was dominated by the Hurricanes. So Boston's going to have to make some adjustments and find some ways to play differently against the Hurricanes that might be more effective. If not, this is going to be a very, very short series. If these teams play like the regular season against each other, this is going to be a very short series. If Boston can make some adjustments, then they might be able to give Carolina a little bit more of a push, a little bit more of a run for their money, and make this something that maybe goes 6 or 7 games. But all in all, you've got good defensive teams here. And it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Obviously, big question is Frederik Andersen for Carolina. Is he going to be there? Is he healthy? That really impacts this series. If Frederik Andersen is not there and is injured and not playing, then Antti Raanta ends up being the goaltender, or maybe Carolina goes with the rookie Kochetkov. We'll have to see. But Andersen being there makes a world of difference. He had a Vezina caliber season this year, and if he's in net for Carolina, I really like the Hurricanes to have a good time in this series, play well, and be able to handle the Boston Bruins. If he is not there and they're relying on a backup goalie to be their starter, that to me gives Boston a much more bigger chance of pulling off an upset. But overall, I think this is going to be a pretty fun series. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, you know, both teams are strong in their own ends, and goal scoring, I think, will be at a premium. But at the end of the day, I do like Carolina here. I think they're the better team. And it's not even a knock against Boston. Boston had a very good season this year. Carolina, I just think, is better. And especially if they have their normal goaltending, Carolina is going to be really tough to beat. I don't see them getting beaten in round 1. And I'm definitely leaning Hurricanes here. But Boston is good enough to give them a little bit of a run for their money. There's no doubt about that. Boston had a strong year. But I just think the Canes are a slightly better team this season. And that is going to end up being the difference. So there you have it. That is my series preview for the Carolina Hurricanes versus Boston Bruins. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merchandise store membership and donation links are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.